This is choreographed chaos that you see in Minneapolis right now. This is a resistance that is organized, that is funded, that is coordinated. And we're going to show you exactly how coordinated it is. Here's Fox News reporting on what they're witnessing here. This is not some organic grassroots protest where everybody, puts on their Birkenstocks and their hacky sack and goes out and says peace, love, and rock and roll. No. This is revolutionary stuff.
To you?
Aisha, it definitely does feel organized to me, and I think you can tell these people are well connected. They are in communication with each other, and they are giving them instructions. This happened all so quickly. People knew where to go, and they are taking commands. This is an organized movement here. There's communication, there's food, there's notices, there's notifications. They got out here in a hurry, and they outnumber this police force probably by about 10 to 1 at this point.
It's incredible. Let's go back to Garrett.
Yep, and they're uniformed. They all are wearing the same kind of backpacks, the same kind of tactical gear, the same kind of face mask, the same kind of... It's a resistance, man. This is not like some protest that you see, like the Tea Party movement or something like that. This is more like, Mao's China, rallying all of the farmers and all of the people who work in the rice paddies to grab their pitchforks and torches and show up with the same uniform and the same marching orders. And, by the way, as most organizations go, it's well-funded, too. The incredible Data Republican on X did a breakdown from what she could figure out. Signalgate donors, we'll get to Signalgate in a minute, that's funding the Signal chat that shows how coordinated this is. You'll see that in a minute, but first, the money. Signalgate donors list available for download, politicians and foreign leadership confirmed, ? Here's her allegation based on her research. In one of the files revealed by Cam Higbee, a resource file directs people with money to a website, Stand with Minnesota. It turns directs donors to a campaign ran by something called Tending the Soil over on Chuffed. Chuffed is a fundraising website that they use, and it's called Tending the Soil. More about Tending the Soil later. What to know, the campaign is hosted by Chuffed, and the first donation came from someone named Johnny Sapatyuk, a Canada-based community organizer. Have I mentioned community organizing enough to you? About how this is the playbook? This is Saul Alinsky. This is Rules for Radicals. This is direct action. This is what Barack Obama did for his career for decades before he became our president. Our country has been community organized, and it keeps growing and growing, my friends. Okay, so Johnny Saputia, he is a Canada-based community organizer. He's part of Chuffed leadership, specializes in fundraising. He's most likely a central figure in raising the money. Starting to look like foreigners are playing a key role in all of this. That's not all. I've put together a spreadsheet of 4,000 plus donors and their possible identities. Download in the next link. Also, he says, passing on screenshots to the powers that be in a big zip folder linked to each donation ID. They're getting a different version of this spreadsheet, one that's much, much less sanitized. Spreadsheet has been updated with 5,000 additional donations. This should be obvious, but here goes. A hedging language is there for a reason. The interesting rows are the ones where the primary role, column E, is not blank. I populated only the ones that could be plausibly. The name Samantha Evans may correspond to Reverend Samantha Evans, who's described as Civic Engagement Director for People Acting in Community Together. Again, this is all community organizing. This is ACORN. This is Organizing for America. This is all of these groups. San Jose, California, associated with Faith in Action, Stone Church of Willow Glen, and the Santa Clara County Rapid Response Network. The available material notes her on PACT staff roster and as media contact, and describes PACT's immigrant rights work as training volunteers for a local rapid response network and providing materials on ICE home raids. Faith in Action materials also link her to local faith leaders. urging federal action on citizenship. Taken together, these organizational listings and role descriptions suggest a possible match between the donor name and the community organizer described, and I have moderate confidence that the linkage based on the affiliations and role information, this identification may still be incorrect if the records are incomplete or if multiple people share the same name. No public social media profiles are provided in the available data. Well, of course not. But the available data that Cam Higbee was able to do a deep dive in as he infiltrated the group signal chat of these people is unbelievable, including a training manual. I implore you, go to townhall.com, take a look at Matt Vespa's write-up of all of this over the weekend. It was a top story and was linked everywhere. This is the story behind the story the corporate media is not looking at. They don't care. Okay? Look at the training manual for what can only be described as domestic terrorist patrols chasing ICE agents in Minneapolis. Here, take a look. First, I love this. Best practices guide for neighborhood or area patrol monitors. Number 1, don't text in the chat while driving. Well, safety first, everybody. When you're impeding law enforcement at the federal level and trying to protect criminal illegal immigrants who could very well be pedophiles, rapists, or murderers, the last thing you want to do is text while you're driving. Safety first, folks. Come on, keep your head on a swivel out there. Look at how organized this is. Table of contents, introduction, patrolling and commuting, mobile patrol. Be as safe as possible. Work in teams of 2 or more with different roles. Stationary patrol, stationary monitors, what to bring, foot patrol, information for all patrol types, patrol decision tree, RR chat information, chat emoji information. Oh yeah, they have little codes with all their emojis about what their jobs are and where they are. Risk levels and considerations, whistles. They've all got whistles. Imagine trying to do your job as law enforcement, and you're potentially trying to collar a gang member from a criminal illegal immigrant gang in this country. Could be a murderer, could be a pedophile, could be a rapist, could be armed, and you've got 30 people on the street blowing these high-pitched whistles at you while you're trying to coordinate with other ICE agents. Just think about that for a minute and look at what they're up against. There's more. ICE encounters, salute, communicating useful information. Salute is an acronym, by the way, that they use for their best practices and their roles. ICE tactics. This breaks down what ICE does. ICE box-ins, ICE and police, ICE authority, county jail contracts, chemical first aid. What to do if you were detained as a responder. They call themselves responders. Look at all of the details here. Look at how many pages this is. Look at how coordinated it is. There is nothing grassroots about this. There is nothing organic about this. What to bring? Fully charged phone, car charger if you have it. Turn off biometrics and have an 8+ digital PIN to unlock the phone. That's so you can hide the evidence from law enforcement. Get an external battery pack. Try and keep a full tank of gas. A whistle, extra if you have them. They're all LARPing out there like they're revolutionaries with their Che Guevara T-shirts. And they're being put out there like pawns in this fight. And the people who coordinate this all and create all of this and fund all of this, God help me, I firmly believe that in their heart of hearts, they hope that some of them get killed because that will advance the cause. That's how revolutionaries think. That's why when one does get killed, they're all on the same page. They've all got the same messaging. It's all the same double down and triple down and quadruple down. And nobody actually stops and circumspectly says, hey, dude, somebody just got killed. Maybe we got to rethink our tactics here. Maybe we shouldn't be doing this. All of this is leading up to the Trump administration pulling back, rethinking their strategy so they can claim victory. And if the Trump administration thinks that that's going to calm things down, I'm sorry. It means this is going to be replicated in every city in America where it's allowed. We'll get into that a little later because you don't have to allow this. Your mayor, your governor, your police chief doesn't have to be like Minneapolis. extra whistles, megaphone, how to identify an ICE agent, protest signs, binoculars, monocular to look into cars and help verify if there are agents. Leaf blowers. This can make you a target of law enforcement when used unless you're on your own property, but it's legal to have in your vehicle. Gas masks, appropriate for tear gas. It goes on and on and on about all the things that you should bring. Items, things people not bring. Weapons, even a pocket knife. Valuables, pets, children, or vulnerable risks. Well, the two people who died here so far didn't follow that advice, did they? It goes on and on. Do you see how organized this is? Look at the patrol decision team. Look at this. Look at how they depict ICE agents as pigs. Do you see this? It just goes on and on and on. All the paid. Look at how thought through this is. Look at how planned it is. Look at how well funded. This doesn't happen organically. This doesn't happen in somebody's basement. I mean, this is more planning than we do for our show prep every day. Then something interesting happened. As people were looking at this crowdsourced material that Cam Higbee was able to put out there, as people were looking at Matt Vespa's write-up at Townhall, they noticed something. Take a look at this exchange in the Signal chat. Why would we be in trouble? Relax. Answer. Signal was not secure. I worked in communications. Once they figure out where we were, it's only a matter of time. Flan has been exposed. We're all effed. I need to leave the state. Should I leave too? Maybe best to get out of the country. All right. Flan has been exposed. We're all effed. Flan. Are they having some sort of, Mexican caramel custard dessert? Who cares if your flan is exposed? Oh, flan. Wait a minute. Maybe they mean Peggy Flanagan, the lieutenant governor of Minnesota. You know her. When last we saw her, she was donning a hijab, to stand with empowered women by subjugating herself to a religion that isn't even hers. She also has that really charming shirt that says protect trans kids with a knife on it. That's kind of violent. Minnesota Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan was apparently on the single check coordinating the doxing and harassment of ICE agents. In fact, another exchange on Signal says that as well. She's been exposed. In what way? Be specific. Seems like they were able to trace her back to the Isles group. Being part of a group isn't really being exposed. Did they give out full name, birthday, and address? Not sure, but good point. Please take a breath. Inform me of actual threats. Where did Flan Southside go? Too hot for her now. Might be too hot for all of us now. Please calm yourself. If you want to leave, you may, but you will not DM me about this. Apparently, the receiver of all these messages doesn't like hysterics. They want to keep calm while they're planning the overthrow of our federal government and law enforcement. That would be the lieutenant governor of Minnesota, it appears, who goes by Flan, it appears. Also from the leaked documents regarding how the single chat vet their admins. They require phone verification via calls and then a voucher from someone very high up. But it appears that Amanda Kohler and Anita Smithson are friends with Flanagan, and all three of them are admins on the Signal chat. You see, rapid response volunteer vetting guide, low risk, medium risk, high risk, et cetera, et cetera. And then you've got all of the details here about verifying and how you verify who gets into the chat and who doesn't get into the chat. And those two people, apparently, it's now being reported, who are tight with the lieutenant governor, who, by the way, is also running for the Senate nomination in Minnesota. They're all part of this thing as well. In fact, there's also this name as part of the Signal chat. Look at how audacious this is. Alex Falconer, this is before he was able to change his name. He's a state representative and a notary and a gluten-free baker. I mean, you got to have many interests in life. But as a state rep, I mean, again, in Minnesota, maybe this is a badge of honor. Maybe this means he'll be nominated for a statewide office. But that would be a state representative part of this entire group. I mentioned Anita Smithson, tight with Flan, also a candidate for Minnesota State Senate. ICE Watch dispatcher. In her spare time, she likes supporting her BLM activists, being a spurg for Tim Walz, and does risk management for a major bank. One wonders if that major bank is thrilled with Ms. Smithson's participation in this. Yeah, risk oversight at U.S. Bank by day. She, her, wife, mom, progressive, YIMBY, we all do better when we all do better, Black Lives Matter. And there she is with your governor. And there she is posting on all of the protests that she participates in, and she's also apparently part of this group. Another thing here that was revealed in this document, which obviously has a lot of contributions and participation from people who work within the Tim Walz administration and the Minnesota government. Take a look at this highlighted moment. ICE has run away from the scene when people simply say that they're calling or have called Minneapolis police. Many 911 operators have been trained not to dispatch police officers if the callers mention that ICE is involved. So the 911, the 911 dispatchers in Minneapolis are now being trained that if there is an emergency and ICE is involved, they won't dispatch the police. ICE is on their own. That's the state of affairs right now on the ground in Minneapolis, and that shows you it's a treasure trove of information that Cal Higbee was able to uncover, and now Data Republican is getting to the bottom of the funding mechanisms behind it. The question is, now that it's out there and everyone can see it, number one, why isn't the cable news and broadcast news and publications reporting on this? Because even if you agree that it's fine for these guys to be organized and out there, you can't tell me this isn't newsworthy. So where are all the reports and exposés on it? Why is it incumbent on social media independent journalists to do all of this investigative work, number one? And number two, what's the Justice Department doing about this?